This is Liz Truss.
Did you go to any parties? That's not speculation.
I didn't.
Any?
No.
Were you ever invited?
No.
Yes.
And she is soon to be the next British Prime Minister.
Can you help us with a definition of what a party is? There seems some confusion.
No, I can't, Nick.
You wouldn't like me to help you whether cheese is a party or wine is a party or...
No, I can't help you with that.
Tell me in the comments which one was the most cringe and which one was the best clip.
And making sure that we're able to spend money to deal with those contingencies so we're prepared for any eventuality.
But what are the actual preparations?
Well,
So I just wanted to know, have you been told as a cabinet how you will do it?
No.
Sajid Javid said he does know how you're going to do it, but he wouldn't tell Nick Robinson on the Today programme 2 days ago. But you don't know, just to
I
be
don't
clear.
know. I don't know.
You know, the Americans are lapping up Love Island and Downton Abbey, so there is huge enthusiasm for doing a deal with Britain.
But there isn't, because Brexit has damaged the Good Friday Agreement, which is essentially the trading arrangements between Northern Ireland, Ireland and Great Britain. On top of that, the head of Congress, or at least the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi, has come out categorically and said there will be no deal. But on top of that, both Republicans and Democrats are agreed on this.
There will be no bilateral US-UK agreement if the Good Friday Accords in regard to the border are changed. And actually, how can they walk away from an international agreement? How do you trust that? We've made an international agreement. This is how we'll go forward. Oh, never mind. Oh, never mind. But anyway, again, their self-determination is up to them. Our trade relations are up to us.
Well, I don't know the precise details of exactly what we will do, and even if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
I've always been a fan of Boris Johnson. I think he did a fantastic job as Prime Minister. Thank you, everybody, for the questions. Very good to see you.
So Liz Truss, current Foreign Secretary, who came third in the first round of voting to become the new Conservative Party leader.
Personally been affected by austerity?
Well, I think the whole country has...
I'm asking about you.
Well, it's not about me, it's about
My
the whole
question's
country.
about you. How have you been affected? Have you been adversely affected?
Well, what I would say is that we have had a period
I don't know why it's funny.
where...
A lot of people have had a terrible time with austerity.
Eddie, I'm not laughing. I'm just questioning your question because...
Well, you leave the questions up to me. What's the answer to mine?
My answer is that all of us have been affected by the difficult decisions that had to be made. But what we have done is we've limited those difficult decisions. We've made sure we target money on those on the lowest incomes.
It would be okay, wouldn't it, to say you haven't been affected?
Well, I don't think it's a good question. I don't know what it means.
Thanks to our new rigorous national curriculum, children will be learning about where food comes from and the proper names of trees and animals.
I'm really struggling with this one. I'm sorry about that.
Yes, well,
I don't know the answer to that.
That sweet-looking creature is a possum.
The Irish tea sock.
If you're interested in talking about 2008, let's look at what the Chancellor talked about today. Growth, the forecast for growth, the independent forecast for growth that the government relies on is as good as it's been, as good as it was in 2009. So you complain about the record of the last government, and your growth this year will be 2009 levels.
I mean, we are facing various issues. We're facing a global slowdown.
I think we can hear that. So the slowdown, well, it was more than a slowdown in 2008. That was Labour's fault, but this slowdown is global.
We import 2/3 of our cheese. That is a disgrace.
We will be taking into account our high standards to make sure our farmers are undermined.
In December, I'll be in Beijing, opening up new pork markets.
So the government is preparing to deploy the army?
Well, we are preparing for what potentially could happen.
What would the army do when you deploy it?
This is not, this is a completely hypothetical question. The reality is...
No, you said you're preparing. You said you're preparing.
I was at HMP Pentonville last week. They've now got patrol dogs who are barking, which helps
deter drones. So
why are you charging them 55 pence a minute to call up and try and get their universal credit payments fixed?
Well, I don't know the details of the call line, and as you've said, it's more affordable if you ring up the landline. But
lots of people don't have landlines.
The fundamental model.
You had a plan in 2014 to build 200,000 new starter homes. That was 5 years ago. How many did you build?
Well, there haven't been as many starter homes as we would have liked.
How many did you build?
I don't have the exact numbers for you.
Well, it's easy to remember. It's 0. You built none under that plan.
Before we get to the final clip, thanks for all your support. Thanks to my Patreon supporters and YouTube supporters. Please click that subscribe and like button.
What do you think of having another EU referendum?
A very, very, very bad idea.
But people can change their minds, can't they?
But they were told in the referendum in 2016 that their vote would be implemented, and the reality is the vote needs to be implemented.
But what about the people who changed their minds between then and now?
I don't think people have changed their minds. Everyone I speak to... I have, that's true.
Right.
In the other way, though, Eddie.
Oh, I see.
But certainly the people I speak to, many of whom voted Remain, say, please, Liz, just get on with this. They don't want another year or more of limbo, asking the same question again. They just want us to deliver it.
So people can change their minds, but only if they go from Remain to Leave.